Hello everyone. Welcome to this video. Welcome to my channel and thank you for being here. My name is Brenda Campbell. I'm an artist and a certified Zentangle teacher. And today is Mindful Monday. And on Mindful Mondays, I am just going to walk you through the 8 steps of the Zentangle method of drawing. We do it for the journey, for the beginning to end journey of the 8 steps, not necessarily for a beautiful piece of art at the end of it, but sometimes we are able to surprise ourselves with something fun and beautiful and magical and something that you can look at when you're finished and say, wow, I made that. Check that out. So today our goal is to bring ourselves into the moment. And that's what mindfulness is. We are not going to concern ourselves about what happened before. We're not worrying about what's happening ahead. We're looking at the now and focusing on each stroke as we draw it. That's the magic of the Zentangle method. So we're going to go right ahead and begin with step 1, gratitude and appreciation. In step 1, I am going to talk you through a brief breathing exercise that will help you get settled into this moment. So we're going to begin by getting tall and comfortable in our chair. And as we breathe in, we're going to raise up. We're going to get tall. We're going to become alert. And as we exhale, we are going to just relax down. Relax your face, relax your shoulders, and just exhale completely. So that's what to expect. Let's go ahead and begin. Sitting up tall, inhale big. And exhale completely. And another big inhale, getting tall. And exhale, relaxing down. One final big breath in. And out. Now just let your breath fall into a natural breathing rhythm. And pay attention to that breath. And continue to relax. As thoughts come in, just notice them and let them go. And then focus back on your breath. In and out. Now take a moment to think about something that makes you smile. And when you have that thought, hold on to it and feel into that. How does that feel? If you're smiling, it's gratitude that you feel. Pay attention to this feeling and bring it into our practice today. And if you reach a point where you get a little frustrated, just stop yourself. Take a big breath in and out. And then you're ready to begin again. Okay, if your eyes were closed, you can open them up. We are ready to move on. But before we move on to step 2, I just want to take a moment and talk about a couple of things. First, remember there are no mistakes. And that is one of the beautiful things about the Zentangle method. So we're not going to concern ourselves. We have no fear. So these are some of the tools and materials I'm going to be using. I am going to be drawing on a 3.5-inch square original Zentangle tile. I love the feel of these tiles. It's just buttery. It's so nice and soft the paper is. I'm also going to be drawing with a Micron PN pen today, and PN stands for plastic nib. I personally have a bit of a heavy hand, and I tend to break some of the finer nib on the Micron pens. So I'm more comfortable with the PN pen. It also gives you a little wider line, and I kind of like to draw big and have wide lines. So it's a good pen for me. You can use whatever pen you have. I'm also going to be using a pencil, and again, any pencil will do, and a tortillon to smudge or blend out the graphite that I lay down with my pencil. So these are some of the tools that I'm going to be using. So I think we're ready now to move on to step 2. Now we're going to need our pencils. Step 2 is to put a dot in each one of the 4 corners of our tile. Step 3 is to connect those dots to create a border. You notice how I turn my tile, so it makes it a little easier. Gives my wrist a bit of a rest also. So step 4, we are going to draw a string, and the string is a line or series of lines that you put on your tile to break up the space and give you places to put our tangles. Today's string is very simple. It's going to be a big curve up past the center and then back down. And I went all the way from the edge of the tile, so I'm outside of my border, and that's perfectly fine. So we're finished with our pencils for now, and I'm going to pick up my Micron PN one more time. And we are going to begin with step 5, the tangles. Now, the first pattern or tangle that we are going to draw is going to be ravel. And this is a tangle where you put a dot on the page, the tile, and then you put another dot on the tile. And then you draw kind of like a little center open section. And then you aura. And the auras come together at the point. And you can do as many or as few as you like. I'll do one more. Okay, and then we draw another dot. And we're going to draw another ravel section. Now this one is going to go behind this one here. So you see it. This one comes in front. And then we're going to do our auras. Now you may have noticed that I'm making my center section pretty large. And that is because I have an idea. So I am going to go ahead with another dot over here. And this one goes behind that first one as well. Okay, let me see, where do I want to go now? How about here? Okay. Then let's put another one here. Remember, we're going for this dot here in the center, but we're drawing behind these other sections that are already here. Okay, let's do one here. Okay, and another one over here. Just kind of filling in the space in this bottom area with the tangle ravel. And is that enough? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that's enough with 7 little ravel sections. Okay, so that's the first thing we're going to do with our ravel. Now, I mentioned that I was leaving the center area open. That's because I want to put something in there, and I'm going to put orbs inside these centers. I always start with the center orb and work my way out from there. Now this one is quite a bit behind, so the center would really be more like here. Okay, so I have my orbs in the centers. And now what I'm going to do is fill in with solid black around these orbs. So in the space between, it's just going to be solid black. Now that I just made wider because I was trying to hide the line, but you don't have to hide the lines. We're still going to add shading, and that will take away a lot of these perceived mistakes or boo-boos. Really, they're just, our pens went somewhere we did not want them to go. That's okay. Turn it around so I can see. Okay, so that's the first one. And then I'm just going to go ahead and fill all of these in with solid black. But I know it's not exciting to watch. So I am going to go right ahead and ask you to pause if you're drawing along. And when you are finished drawing yours, hopefully you take your time. Then you come back and unpause, and then we'll be ready to move on to the next tangle. So go ahead if you're drawing along and pause now. Okay, so I am back and we are finished with our ravel. Now, the next tangle I'm going to draw, I really want it to kind of contrast all of the curvy lines of our ravel with the orbs in the center. And so I am going to go to one of the very basic Zentangle patterns. This tangle is called Hollybaugh, and it is made up of straight lines with an aura to that line. And then we cross it and draw behind. So we're going to come down, stop when we hit that first section, and then continue. But this one kind of goes off the border. So then let's do, let's do this one. That may be enough, but I think I'm going to add one more right here. Okay, and then to further emphasize these straight lines, I am going to add a line to the center of each one of our boards or ribbons, however you think about these particular shapes. Okay, so we have two tangles on this tile. We have ravel and we have Hollybaugh, and we are done with our pens and done with our patterns for this tile, our tangles, and we're going to move on to step 6. Step 6 is the shading, so we're picking our pencils back up and we're going to begin with ravel. Now, everywhere you have a dot, we want to add a little bit of graphite. So you've got like a cluster here. So I'm just going to begin with this. Putting quite a bit, it appears, on these first clusters. Okay, and then we're going to come down here, and everywhere it crosses or one goes behind, then we're going to add a little bit of graphite. So this one goes behind here, and this one goes behind here. Okay, and then we can go to the other ends where we would have another dot and add a little bit of graphite there as well. Okay, now I'm picking up my tortillon and I'm going to start blending. And I'm going to go ahead and start here where I started by adding graphite to this cluster of ravel sections. And I'm just turning my tile as I go, going around. Okay, now I'm going to come and go where they all go behind. Okay, so all we have left now for ravel is to blend out the opposite ends from the cluster center. Everywhere there would be a dot. And we want to leave a little bit of white space between them, but I do want to put a little bit on each of the edges just to give it a little bit more dimension. Okay, and that's shaded pretty well, but some of these orbs are still a little white, so I'm just coming in, putting in that smile on those that seem a little too white. Some of them already have graphite from shading around each other, so I think that's good. So that is how I'm shading ravel in this particular case. So moving on to shading hollybaw, I'm picking my pencil back up. And for hollybaw, I am going to put graphite everywhere that we have a board that goes behind another. So we put it on the board underneath and we put it right next to the line. And that's how we're going to get the illusion that one board is on top of another. Put it on each side of the board. Get my pencil back out. Oh, I forgot one here. Notice I'm turning my tile as I go around because I want to be able to see where that line is I'm pulling the graphite away from. Okay, so I've got graphite everywhere they cross over each other. Picking my pencil back up, and now I am going to add graphite, a pretty good amount, to the outside on top of the ravel, because I want it to look like it sits way up above all of that holly baugh. Maybe I'll add some to the entire outside. Just looks a little unbalanced, I guess, without anything on the bottom. So talk about the paper tearing up if you press too hard over solid black, and that's what was happening there. But it's all good. Okay, I think that we are good. We are pretty much done with our shading. And now we are going to move on from step 6 shading to step 7, which is to put on our initials in the front and sign in the back. I am going to tuck mine up kind of here on the bottom, but underneath this guy. So okay, so there's my initials, which is just a stylized B and a C for Brenda Campbell. I'm going to flip it over and sign it, and then date it, but I do that off camera. And then we're going to name our patterns on the back: Ravel and Holly Baugh. Now you can also add any notes that you want to add. I am going to add a note that I created this for my Mindful Monday 51 video. That is step 7, sign and initial, or initial and sign. Step 8 is simply to sit back and admire what you've done. I kind of like our little patterns here on this tile. We've got some nice contrast between the curvy lines and the straight lines, and we even have some solid black in here to give me a little bit of drama. You know I like my drama. So I hope you enjoyed drawing along, or just watching if that's what you did. And I just want you to know, once again, I do appreciate you being here with me. And until next time, I will remind you, as I always do, to be you and be happy.